Thanks, Angus. Well, it's a Team Halford's car on pole, but it's that of Gareth Howell. Alongside him is Colin Turkington in the Team RAC car. Matt Neal, championship leader, lines up in third place ahead of the first of the Seat. But it's Darren Turner. Tom Chilton is fifth on the grid ahead of Gordon Shedden in sixth place. James Thompson, another Seat, is seventh. Then it's Fabrizio Giovanardi for Vauxhall. Mike Jordan lines up in ninth place ahead of Rob Collard. Then it's Gavin Smith, another Vauxhall. The Alfa Romeo of Owen Murray. And Jason Plato all the way back in 13th place. He's ahead of James Kay and Paul O'Neill. Then it's Tom Ferrier, who lines up on row number 8. On row number 9, we've got Jason Hughes and David Pinkney. And then Martin Bell in the BMW. He's on row 10 with Richard Marsh. Mark Smith lines up next on row number 11 with Chris Stockton. Then it's Nick Leeson and Darren Dowling. And the last row of the grid, we've got Mark Jones, but we don't have Adam Jones. His car was damaged yesterday. So the car's now coming into position then for the start of the first race of the day. It could be the decisive race of the 2006 championship. If Matt Neal finishes ahead of Jason Plato, he will have wrapped up the driver's title. But remember, Seat are looking to wrap up the manufacturer's title as well. Last few cars still coming into position. We're waiting for this full grid of 25 British touring cars to get into their correct positions here. It's taking a little while. Look at the back there. Still, a number of cars are waiting to get into position. This, of course, makes the front row men have to wait a little bit longer. Clutches can begin to get a little bit warm. So watch for the start. It's critical to get off the line well. And interestingly here at Silverstone, pole position is actually on the outside. It could give Colin Turkington a good opportunity on the inside in the Team RAC MG. Gareth Howell it is on pole. Turkington second. Matt Neal is third. Remember, Darren Turner is fourth. Watch for the lights. Here we go. We're racing. And underway. It's a good start for Colin Turkington. But Gareth Howell now gets the Team Halford's Integra going well. Darren Turner's going well. And so is Tom Chilton in the Vauxhall coming down the outside. The Vauxhall of Tom Chilton has made a great getaway. But it's Gareth Howell who leads into the first corner. Turkington in second. And Chilton grabbing third.
Yeah, Chilton and Turner ducking it out into that first corner. Nobody wanting to get out wide on the marbles. But good start from Howell and Turkington.
Yeah, excellent getaway from these two youngsters. But is there contact? Not quite. A little bit of locking up into Beckett's hairpin. Watch out further back. Where's Jason Plato? He's still in there. No problems. And Tom Ferrier coming through. New boy, 23. The Seat from last year. Coming into this for the first time in 2006. But a very good getaway by Gareth Howell and by Colin Turkington. Still Chilton in third, then Darren Turner. Further back, you can see that Plato's making some progress there. He's got past a couple of cars. And now battling with Giovanardi for 8th place. I think he's got past him, and he's right behind his teammate James Thompson.
Yeah, that's on board with Plato. He's made a great start and is rocketed up behind Thompson, really charging. And he's up into 9th place already. James Kay, I noticed, was not on the grid, so James Kay, a non-starter in this race.
So shame for him across the line. They come at the end of the first lap. Plato in 8th place. In fact, he's got 8th place. Now behind James Thompson. There is Gavin Smith. He's battling with Mike Jordan. Jordan now running in 10th place. But it's Gareth Howell who leads. Turkington is second. Look at this battle for third place. The Vauxhall of youngster Tom Chilton up against Darren Turner. And Darren Turner, who hasn't raced all this year, but has been very, very useful for Seat this season, putting the pressure on, trying to get a podium finish. Further back, here we are, on board with Jason Plato. Is James Thompson going to allow him through here?
Well, let's see what happens. He could leave the door open on the inside. Plato looks close enough by Plato's judgment. He's looking, but Thompson's not going to give him any room. Well, Thompson's run a bit wide. That cold right rear tyre just letting the car run wide.
So, and he's fed it. Oh, look,
Giovanardi round the outside, gets tagged and does a good save of it, but that's dropped them both back from Thompson. They're side by side across the start-finish line with Gavin Smith right up behind them.
So Thompson made a mistake. Jason then was passed from the outside by Giovanardi. Now it's Plato versus Giovanardi. The turn of heading down towards the fast Copse corner. Plato on the inside, Giovanardi on the outside, and then side by side, Giovanardi sideways, and he's on his left-hand side. We're with Plato here, and where's Giovanardi? He's still up on the left-hand side, but he's not quite far enough ahead. Mike Thompson's in the battle there. That's right, Mike Jordan in the battle there as well with Plato, and he's got back ahead of Jason Plato. This is good
and Rob Collard passed Giovanardi as well. I think there was a touch actually at Copse between Plato and Giovanardi, similar to the one at Luffield, just put him wide. Mike Jordan carried his speed through and has passed them both.
Oh, and now that's going to make life difficult for Jason Plato. Jordan is desperate to finish ahead of Rob Collard in particular, because they're battling for points in the championship. He won't want to let any of these guys through, because Collard, he's sideways in the middle of the pack there, with Gavin Smith going around the outside of him. Paul O'Neill, Dane Pickney all in there too. We're on board though with Matt Neal in 5th place. The race is still being led by Gareth Howell. Turkington 2nd, Tom Chilton 3rd, Darren Turner 4th. That's the silver car ahead of us here. Matt Neal is in 5th place, and if it stays like this, Matt Neal will be champion once again.
Yeah, Matt Neal in a good position there. He's got Shedden protecting the back of him. He's got Darren Turner in front of him, which is effectively Plato's teammate, so he won't want to mess with him too much. So good position for Matt Neal, a championship winning position at the moment.
Yeah, he'll settle for this. He doesn't want to get too much into a battle with Darren Turner immediately ahead in the Seat. He doesn't want to get into any kind of difficulties with a car of one of the major rivals. And so he's going to settle in, as you say, Shedden behind him, Thompson on his own, and then this gap back to Mike Jordan, who's running in 8th place, with Plato in 9th now, Giovanardi in 10th, Collard, O'Neill, Gavin Smith, Pickney, and all the rest still heading down that long straight into the left-hander at Brooklands as we focus on Darren Turner versus Tom Chilton.
Yeah, this position, second position, has all come together, look. Turkington, Chilton, Darren Turner, Matt Neal and Shedden have all closed up. Chilton's looking very racy, and by common consent, that Vauxhall has the strongest engine in the pack.
It was fast in the practice sessions yesterday. Giovanardi was fastest in one of the practice sessions. Tom Chilton still looking for his first win, remember, of 2006, his first win as a works Vauxhall driver. But Vauxhall have won at least one race in each of the last 2 meetings, courtesy of Giovanardi. So they could be on good form here once again. Matt Neal's just keeping a watching brief, and all of this is allowing Gareth Howell to open up that gap up front. Howell looking very, very strong. This is how the points stand at the moment. 2.71 for Matt Neal if he finishes where he is. Jason Plato would be on 2.31. It would be 40-point lead with only 34 left, and that would be enough for Matt Neal to be champion.
Yes, and he'll just be wishing a flag could come out now. This is further back, Paul O'Neill and Gavin Smith. Gavin Smith, remember, racing with 2 broken ribs, suffered in that accident at the last meeting at France when he went into the pit wall off the start line after contacting Jason Hughes. So he'll be in a fair degree of discomfort, and that won't help by being overtaken.
No, that's right. Well, there is Matt Neal still holding on to 5th place, tucked in behind Darren Turner. Gordon Shedden defending him from behind, with James Thompson in that rather lonely 7th place. It's still Mike Jordan holding on to 8th, and now Giovanardi is ahead of Plato. So Plato hasn't really been able to make much progress here, and in fact, look, Jason Plato in the yellow and silver machine, hounded by Rob Collard, and these two are having their own dice as Jordan and Giovanardi run wide out of Beckett.
Yeah, Plato never really with a huge amount of speed, as we said this weekend, but maybe those little contacts with Giovanardi might have affected his tracking on the front of the car. He's had a couple of whacks on the front wheel, but certainly he's not staying in touch with Giovanardi, who's now side by side with Mike Jordan, and looking up the inside into Lufkin.
Yeah, back on board with Matt Neal though, because this is all getting very close ahead Turner. But look at Chilton up ahead as well with Turkington. There's nothing to choose in this battle for 2nd position. Here we go, and 2nd's going to be lost here from Turkington as Tom Chilton goes down the inside. Turner's going to try and follow.
Matt Neal's going to have a tremendous run through the corner. He's the only one that's been online. Turkington's right out in the boonies.
Yeah, but he's still come back on in front of them. That's amazing. Turkington still stays in 2nd place. Gareth Howell leads his way ahead. Look at the lock-up there from Turner. Oh, there's contact between Chilton and Turkington. Turkington got pitched sideways. Still a big chance here for Matt Neal. He's going to think, well, where are they all going to go here?
Well, to be honest, he's just going to hope that something kicks off in front of them. He doesn't want to get too involved, but, you know, he's clearly got a quick car, and they're going to be side by side.
Chilton trying to go around the outside of Turkington into Brooklands, the left-hander. Will he have the inside line for the next one? The right-hander, not quite. Turkington just able to nip through. Now Matt Neal's trying to go around the outside of Darren Turner. Careful here, Matt. You do not need to be squeezed out and put yourself in a vulnerable position.
No, the last thing he needs is to get involved in tussle with Turner and end up not finishing this first race. It's the only way Plato has a chance, but Plato would still have to win the race, and that would be a tough ask.
It would be, but Matt Neal loves racing. He wants to overtake, doesn't he? He doesn't want to just sit there. He's still got Gordon Shedden defending him from behind, but James Thompson, is beginning to catch the whole group up here. So it could get even tighter, this battle for 2nd. That was Turkington again, a little lock-up into Beckett. We're riding with Matt Neal. 2nd place, it's the Team RAC MG, then it's the Vauxhall of Chilton, then it's the Seat of Darren Turner. and we're watching from Matt Neal's vantage point, and again, it's that race for second. Down towards the left-hander of Brooklands. Turkington on the inside. Chilton's going to go and try and go around the outside again, and Darren Turner's going to try and take advantage of this. Almost contact. How close can you get?
Matt Neal got the inside. He's going to gain a place on Turner. The door was opened for him there by Chilton, and he just went straight inside. He knows he's got a quick car. I think he's just got frustrated with waiting. Thompson's caught them up. Thompson's alongside Shedden. He needs to get on with it, Matt Neal.
So James Thompson has really caught up to this group now. Turkington still somehow in second. Chilton in third with the Vauxhall. This is looking back from Matt Neal now as we look back at Darren Turner, but James Thompson, I'm not sure if Thompson's quite managed to nip past Shedden on that run down towards Cox, but it was very, very close. Let's see if they fan out a little bit coming into this one. Shedden and Thompson still battling behind, but Matt Neal has got himself past the Seat here of Darren Turner, yet Thompson is then next up. Thompson's got past Shedden. So Thompson in 6th place, Shedden down to 7th, Giovanardi still running in 8th place, Plato is still in 9th, Rob Collard is in 10th, and still Turkington is somehow holding 2nd position.
He is, and Gareth Howell with a comfortable 3.2 second lead, and the fastest lap of the race on lap 5, a 60.8. Not quite a lap record. I think the lap record, in actual fact, still held by Plato from last year.
So, across the line, Gareth Howell with that big lead, then this race for second, Turkington, then Chilton. Matt Neal with Darren Turner again right behind him, so it's still close. There's the view to Darren Turner from Matt Neal. Potential double champion here, Matt Neal. Is he going to take back-to-back titles in the first race of the day? Look how close that Seat is to the back bumper of the Team Halfords Honda. Not quite close enough, though, into the hairpin. James Thompson's a bit closer to this group as well. Gordon Shedden at the back, onto the long straight. This is where the Honda maybe has the edge. There's the gap in points at the moment. As it stands, the gap is some 41 points, and there are only 34 points available after this race. So Matt Neal still in control in terms of the championship here, but he's got that Seat of Darren Turner close behind.
Yeah, that fastest lap by Howell is actually a new lap record by a tenth of a second. Plato had it last year, in fact, in one of the Seat Toledos. A car we're now seeing on the grid with Tom Ferrier in it, and actually he's going very well after problems in practice with a drive shaft. He's up to 14.
He is. There's been a few changes behind, I noticed, because we are watching this group all battling for second. At the back of the group is Gordon Shedden. He's running in 7th. Giovanardi 8th. Plato 9th. Collard 10th. Jordan's dropped to 11th. Gavin Smith then further back, and that's all going on in the background. But here, James Thompson in the Red Bull sponsored Seat coming up the inside of his teammate Darren Turner. Careful, boys. And Thompson's through. Well, Thompson has been very quick, but this could allow Shedden through as well. Gordon Shedden may well be able to get the move done on Darren Turner, and it's proving to be as even teammates racing hard here.
Yeah, Thompson without a contract, in fact, with Seat for next year. They've got so many drivers on their books, and his contract actually expires at the end of this year. So he's got a lot to try and live up to, and there are many people that have said had he done the whole of the British Series this year, he might well have been a stronger candidate for victory.
That's right, he's been fast every time he's been part of the British Championship. Here's another look. This is how it happened. Down the inside, he has to really clamber over the curve.
Yeah, he did. I mean, fortunately, Darren Turner just caught him out of his rear-view mirror on the last minute, gave him a little bit of room, and the little gentle touch, perfectly acceptable, but a good move that by Thompson.
So that puts Thompson into 5th place. Now he's the one who's going after Matt Neal. So is he going to try and put a move on the man who currently leads the championship and is looking to wrap up his title? Still behind them, it's Darren Turner. But comes a fair bit of pressure here from Gordon Shedden. Shedden trying everything. So we're on lap number 12 out of 22. 11 completed. We're just over the half distance mark in this first touring car race of the day. Gareth Howell continues to lead. The battles are going on slightly further behind. This one, in particular, between Darren Turner and Gordon Shedden is for 6th place. But remember, Matt Neal is on target for the championship, holding on to 4th. But he's got James Thompson closing up to him with his lights ablaze now, Thompson. And he wants to put that championship leader under a bit of psychological pressure. There you are, looking back from Matt Neal now, right into the headlights of James Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson considerably quicker than Matt Neal on that lap. Matt will have to make a decision. He can see that there's a gap behind Thompson, so if he lets him through, he's not going to lose too much distance.
Well, let's see where he puts the move on. If he's going to try, this was where he got past Darren Turner, but he's not close enough to have a go there. Goes in deeper, but Matt Neal was perhaps a fraction wide on the apex. Here's where the acceleration out of the corner is critical, but there's so little to choose between them.
Yeah, if we stay on this shot, as we get down to the end of the straight, though, that gap is staying the same at the moment. But remember, Matt Neal is carrying 45 kilos.
Yeah, all the ballast on board. The Team Halford's car makes it more difficult under braking to slow the car. Maybe he has to brake a fraction earlier, but nonetheless he's able there to stay ahead of James Thompson and come out of Luffield corner on the power, much the same. Turkington still second, Chilton third, and then it's fourth place for Matt Neal, fifth place for James Thompson, Darren Turner in sixth place still ahead of Gordon Shedden. Fabrizio Giovanardi in eighth place, Jason Plato still down in ninth place. It's not going Jason Plato's way. And remember, in terms of the Manufacturers' Championship, Plato and Thompson are the two cars scoring points. So Thompson the best place for Seat at the moment in terms of trying to wrap up this Manufacturers' Championship.
Yeah, they're on lap 14 of 22.
Shedden,
side by side there, Shedden, past Turner.
Makes contact at Beckett, nips through on the inside, and this has given the Italian Fabrizio Giovanardi and the Vauxhall a chance to close up on them once again. So there could be a move here coming from Giovanardi. Up front as well, Thompson close to the back of Matt Neal, and there was definitely action as Giovanardi was having a look down the inside into the left, and it's gone wrong. Turner off. Well, that was Giovanardi and Turner side by side coming down there. Don't quite know what happened.
No, it's all gone disastrously wrong again. There's contact there on the right-hand side a little bit. Here we go. Giovanardi down the inside, very late lunge, touches the back of Turner's car where the cars are unweighted, and Turner absolutely no chance of saving it.
Now look, Matt Neal and James Thompson are side by side. Thompson trying to go around the outside of Matt Neal. Oh, he's not quite able to do it there, and he's got to be careful because Gordon Shedden has pulled him back up. But there's a real contest going on now for fourth place.
Yeah, that was as they passed Nick Leeson back at Cops. Tomo got a little run, but Matt made him go the long way round, and he couldn't get round past him. And in fact, it nearly gave an opportunity for Shedden to get back past Thompson.
So Matt Neal survives that, no problem. He's still in fourth place. That's the Vauxhall of Tom Chilton just ahead of him. Chilton really uses a bit of curve, cuts in close into Luffield, looking for the good exit, but Thompson is still right behind him, so Matt Neal cannot afford to relax. We've still got a few laps to go here as they come across the line this time. Gareth Howell completes 19 out of the 22 laps, on to lap 20. Looking back from Matt Neal, James Thompson is still a major threat. But remember, Matt Neal could afford to lose the place to James Thompson. He'd still have his teammate then, Gordon Shedden, behind him, and Matt Neal would still wrap up the Drivers' Championship. So, you know, he doesn't want to get into a real barging match with James Thompson here.
No, he doesn't. I mean, you know, I think there's a lot of respect between Tomo and Matt Neal, and I think perhaps Matt feels a little bit safer racing with him than he might do with Jason Plato. But nevertheless, as you say, he could afford to let him pass and have his teammate defend behind him.
Tom Chilton in the Vauxhall there, on his own in third place. The other Vauxhall of Giovanardi is gradually closing up to this group. Remember, Giovanardi and Turner had that incident earlier on, which saw Turner go out into the gravel trap at that Brooklands corner. And as we come round now, on to complete lap number 20, they're running out of time. They've got to pull off the move pretty fast here. The checkered flag is going to be out in just 2 laps, so they've got to push hard. And it's still Howell who leads from Turkington, Chilton, and then Matt Neal and James Thompson. There's Thompson, the less familiar colours of that car. It's the car that he races in the World Touring Cars, and it will be making its way to Macau directly after this race meeting at Silverstone.
Yeah, a lap and a half to go for that whole Matt Neal family crew. There's Giovanardi up the inside of Shedden now, but another lap and a half to go to secure the 2006 British Touring Car Championship.
Yeah, Matt Neal's on target here, and if it all stays the way it is, he will be champion. But watch Fabrizio Giovanardi in the background of this, trying to find a way past Gordon Shedden. Shedden's holding the inside. Giovanardi's trying it to brave it up around the outside. Gets a bit of a squeeze, but I don't think he's going to make it through. Nope, drops behind him once again. And as they come around this time, it will be to go on to their final lap. And Matt Neal's looking good to make it back-to-back titles here. I don't think there's anything Jason Plato can do. There is Plato. He's running in 8th position. He's got Mike Jordan behind him, then Collard and Gavin Smith. So Jordan's got ahead of that little battle. There's Dave Pinkney. He's running down in 13th place. Matt Neal just has to finish this lap where he is, and he'll have wrapped it up.
Yeah, he'll be wishing the flag could come out. He's got a comfortable position. He's fended off James Thompson. He's driven as aggressively as he needed to in this last race and defensively when he needed to. And he's going to get there. That Halford's car, supremely reliable. I didn't want to jinx him, but the last two mechanical retirements he had, not accident retirements, were in fact at the last race of the year in 2004. That hasn't happened again. He's only had 2 non-finishes this year. Fantastic performance. And here he comes with just one more corner to go.
Matt Neal is going to record back-to-back touring car titles. It's the first time in 19 years that somebody has achieved that feat. Back-to-back titles for Matt Neal. The race goes to Gareth Howell, second goes to Turkington, third goes to Tom Chilton, but Matt Neal is the 2006 Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Champion. He has wrapped it up here in the first race of the day.
Yeah, there was wife Karen. She can have her husband back, a happy man all winter now.
He'll be delighted. And there's Dad, the man who masterminds the whole operation at Team Halford. He has masterminded another championship success. And SEAT, well, they haven't quite achieved it this time in terms of the Drivers' Championship, but in terms of the manufacturers, we'll have to work out the points. They must be very close to have sorted that out. Jason Plato has to settle in the end for 8th position, and Matt Neal has taken that title. Let's look at the light celebration down there. They've come up with a superb car. That's the Honda Integra. It's proven to be reliable. It's proven to be pretty solid on many occasions as well this year, Tim. It survived some pretty amazing accidents, and he still picked off the points. And it was his teammate Gareth Howell who took the race victory. It was a very accomplished drive, as we've come to expect from Gareth. He won from Colin Turkington, Tom Chilton in 3rd place, Matt Neal then 4th, enough to take the title, James Thompson 5th ahead of Gordon Shedden, Fabrizio Giovanardi in 7th place, Jason Plato in 8th, Mike Jordan in 9th, and the final point went to Rob Collard.
What a dance of celebration for Matt Neal. He is the 2006 champion. Back-to-back titles for him. Joy unadulterated here outside Team Halford. Hugs from his dad and everyone concerned. What a performance it has been over the whole season for Matt. Consistency itself. Just the 2 races that he has not finished. And boy, does it mean something to...
So the lineup for the second race of the day sees Gareth Howell on pole position, but now with maximum ballast, and Colin Turkington once again alongside him. On the second row, Tom Chilton driving for Vauxhall, and Matt Neal now confirmed as champion. He can go for race victories. James Thompson in the top SEAT. He's in 5th place. Alongside him is Gordon Shedden, again for Team Halford. So on row number 4, we've got Fabrizio Giovanardi in the Vauxhall and Jason Plato in the SEAT. Row number 5, we've got Mike Jordan in the Team Eurotech car, and alongside him, the man he's battling with for 9th place in the points, that's Rob Collard. And then on row number 6, it's Gavin Smith and Tom Ferrier making an impressive debut in British touring cars. Dave Pinkney's next up, with Paul O'Neill starting alongside him in the Thirlby Motors car, and then it's Jason Hughes in the Kart World Racing MG with Martin Bell in the only BMW on the grid on row number 8. Row number 9, Richard Marsh in the Peugeot and Mark Smith in his Alfa Romeo, and behind them we've got Chris Stockton and Darren Dowling, the 2 teammates for BTC Racing. Nick Leeson is next up. He's got Owen Murray alongside him in the Alfa Romeo, and as we get towards the back of the grid, we've got Darren Turner in the SEAT and Mark Jones in another Lexus. We're all ready, though, for the race to get underway here. Gareth Howell from pole position with Colin Turkington on the front row. Which of them's going to make the best start? Away we go. They're all pretty even off the line there. Gareth Howell just getting across, I think, in front of Turkington. Not quite. Tom Chilton goes with them. Matt Neal's up there as well. James Thompson with a good start. And it's all about the battle into Compton. Turkington gets ahead. Colin Turkington squeezes the Team RAC MG ahead of Gareth Howell this time. So it's a change at the start.
Yeah, it is. It was nearly an identical start from the first one, but this time Turkington did get past Howell.
And James Thompson.
Chilton's off.
Chilton into the gravel trap up there at Beckett's. Got a knock from somebody. Didn't see who it was. We'll have another look. But Alan Pickney spins at the back there as well, and everyone's trying to avoid him. But Mark Jones having to take to the grass in avoidance. So it's Turkington that has the initial advantage. There is Matt Neal
coming up the inside. He's really on the charge, and is he going to collect Turkington as well?
This
is a replay. Chilton at the back there just gets touched, I think, by Thompson.
Yeah, there was he flew in between Thompson and Matt Neal, and he ended up ricocheting off into the gravel trap there. It's Turkington that leads, but it's side by side with Gareth Howell. Matt Neal still in third place. Howell on the outside. Look at this, real rubbing now, and everybody going for race victory. Matt Neal comes to the inside. Brilliant race, absolutely down towards Cops Corner, and Matt Neal on the inside. Can he take the lead from this moment? He's through, I think. We're on board with Plato behind this, and he's in there too. So Jason Plato suddenly is called up to this group.
Yeah, Plato's flying, isn't he? But Matt Neal, with no less weight on the car for first rate, has charged through to the lead. Plato stuck on the inside there. He's going to get past, I think that's
Gordon Shedden. Yeah, Gordon Shedden on the outside there. Halford's cars almost 1, 2, 3 there for a moment, but it could still be that way. Looking ahead from Rob Collard's car, you can see Plato on the right. It is a Team Halford's 1, 2, 3, unless Plato can do something. Down the outside, there comes Collard. It's Turkington we're riding with. I thought we were with Collard, but it's Turkington, and there's trouble through Brooklyn. Turkington's on the grass, he's on the mud, kicks it all up, gets back on, and they've all passed him.
Yeah, that's Berrier and Thompson, Jim Bernardi and Leeson all going through, and he slowed down. Turkington slowed down. This is a killer blow. Oh, big shunt there. That's Jordan and 2 of the Seat. Big shunt to Wooker.
Coming out of left field, Plato's cars off, Thompson out as well. Big accident, as you say. All 3 cars that badly damaged, and it's all gone mad in this second race here at Silverstone.
On board with Plato. He runs that normal racing line there. Oh, you could hear the touch there. Don't know what happened, because we know that Thompson's car and Jordan's were involved.
What a shame. We've lost 3 top cars there. Look in the background.
This is a better shot. Plato's...
Yeah, Jordan on the grass a bit there. Oh, he just takes the back of Plato as he came back on off from being off the curb. And then Thompson got involved too, I think.
Yeah, I think Jason lost a little bit of speed just getting out onto the grass. Yeah, Plato just for some reason lost a bit of speed, and Jordan ducked out to try and avoid him actually, and just clipped the back of him.
Yeah, it's a strange accident. Taking all 3 cars out. As you say, it was almost as if Plato suddenly wasn't quite as quick off the corner as expected.
I'm not really sure what happened. I know that as we came through Brooklands, the train kind of slowed up, and the yellow flags were waving as I approached Beckett's, and I'd by then got past, I think it was Shedden, or it was a Honda, and I thought, okay, I need to let him pass. So I let him come around the outside, and then as we got down through Brooklands, then the train kind of slowed, and I got a blow on my right front wheel, which I think punctured it, pushed the tyre back. Coming out of Luffield, I'm on the radio saying that I've got drive shaft, and then the next thing, drive shaft went, and it snapped my car, and I think that's when everyone got into it. So just... that's the kind of story of our year. You know, great start, was looking strong, and then hey ho, that's what.
Do you think you'll be back for the 3rd race?
I think so, because with the timetable we've got today, the last race is like 5 o'clock. I mean, the car's had a fairly big hit, so but at least what we got, 4 hours. Our lads are used to working miracles, so we'll see what we can do.
Lovely, thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Vicky. Well, the red flag has now come out on this race. That means that all of the competitors have to slow down, come to a stop when they come back towards the start-finish line. And obviously, that incident causing some concern there to Mike Jordan. But the crew's doing their very best to get him out of the car without causing any further injury, if there is injury, and taking him off to the medical centre. And, of course, we'll bring you any news about Mike Jordan's condition just as soon as we can. We're now getting ready for a 14-lap race, which will be led away by Matt Neal from pole position. All 3 Team Halford's cars right up front. Can they hold those positions as we go racing once again? Lights go out. Matt Neal gets away from pole position. Good start. But squeezing through the middle is Gavin Smith between the 2 other Team Halford's cars. Brilliant getaway by the Irishman. Gavin Smith in the Vauxhall, and now he's powering his way into 2nd place, following Matt Neal through Cops Corner.
Yeah, great start by Smith, but both Shedden and Howell were slow away. Although, look, straight away, fighting back there. And don't know what happened to Smith. He had a good run out of Cops, so shouldn't have lost that place.
No, that is surprising. Shedden now into 2nd place. Smith back down to 3rd under pressure from Gareth Howell. Everyone else just jostling for position. Darren Turner has been sent out onto the track in his Seat. He had a push start from pit lane, and he has now joined the back, and there's a battle for third between Gareth Howell and Gavin Smith and Fabrizio Giovanardi diving down the inside, making it a three-way battle there. Giovanardi desperate, and Howell loses control but tries to gather it back. Great recovery but loses at 2 places.
Oh, Shedden's had a touch with Giovanardi.
Giovanardi had a little bit of a rub there with Shedden. Shedden sorted it out very well. Giovanardi's got to be careful. He's already picked up some penalty points on his licence today. Now that was a bit more just sort of rubbing rather than a real punt, but it has put him in position to challenge for second. We're watching from Matt Neal's car. Gavin Smith's in there as well. It's a 3-way dice now for second place. Giovanardi looking for the edge. Oh, there's contact there between them. Great recovery from Giovanardi, but he's now on the dirty part of the track and loses the place to Gavin Smith.
Yeah, but looks like he's going to get it back again, actually, on the exit. It never really works there, actually, going round the outside of a car up to Luffield. You leave the door open. Oh, a little bit of a run. That could have been another repeat of the accident we had between the Seats.
We're nearly at the end of the race. They've just got to complete this lap, but Giovanardi tucked in behind Gordon Shedden. Shedden trying to defend. Giovanardi's going to go one way, then the other. Is there going to be a gap on the inside? I don't think so. He hopped over the curb there, but it didn't upset the car too much. Tucked him right behind Shedden. And meanwhile, Howell has still not managed to find a way past Collard, but he's trying some new routes.
He's trying to use all the road there. They all tried to run out wide coming onto the straight there, but he ran out wide a little bit early. Perhaps the front tyres just over-abused so far.
Last chance to overtake Shawley is into this section, and Gavin Smith doing a great job at the moment, holding on to 4th place for Vauxhall. I don't think that Collard's going to be able to come past him. The leaders are coming through the final corner, and it's going to be victory for the new champion. Matt Neal takes the win in the second race of the day here. Team Alford, another victory for them. They're maintaining their 100% record here today. The result then, Matt Neal the winner from Gordon Shedden. The 2 teammates 1-2 ahead of Giovanardi and Gavin Smith for Vauxhall. Team RSC's Rob Collard was 5th ahead of Gareth Howell, then Tom Ferrier, Paul O'Neill, Jason Hughes in the top 10, completed by the man starting from the pit lane, Darren Turner. The grid for the final round of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship sees Jason Hughes on pole, Paul O'Neill alongside him in the Vauxhall. Then it's Tom Ferrier, the new boy in the Seat. Alongside him is Gareth Howell, who won the first race of the day. Behind them, watch out, we've got Rob Collard on the attack. We've also got Gavin Smith driving with those broken ribs, but he's still going quickly. Fabrizio Giovanardi's next up in the Vauxhall. He's got Gordon Shedden, and he set fastest lap last time out. He's looking for a win. Matt Neal also already had a win today. He's also wrapped up the championship, but Darren Turner in the Seat could be a major threat. Behind them, we've got Dave Pigney and Richard Marsh in the Peugeot. And then, watch out, we've got Mark Smith in the Alfa Romeo and Darren Dowling in the Lexus. Nick Leeson lines up next with Chris Stockton alongside him on row number 8 to the grid. Row 9, and we've got Mark Jones versus Martin Bell in the BMW. Towards the back, Colin Turkington now finds himself battling with Jason Plato, still for second place in the championship. It could be close between these two. James Thompson's next up, Tom Chilton also coming from the back. A lot of action from the rear of the field, which is brought up by James Kay.
Race 30 of 30 then of the British Touring Car season. Nothing to be decided, so let's have some fun with Ben Edwards and Tim Harvey.
The cars have set off then on the warm-up lap here at Silverstone. We're all set for this last 22-lap encounter of the season. It's Jason Hughes who will start them away from pole position. Paul O'Neill up there as well. But watch for the likes of Gareth Howell coming from the second row, and particularly the likes of Tom Chilton, James Thompson, Jason Plato and Colin Turkington, who are starting back on rows 10 and 11. And there you can see some of those rapid racers who've got a great opportunity to make up some places in the early stages. Sadly, we've got no Nick Leeson out there. His wheel fell off as he came out to go onto the grid.
Yeah, very depressed. This is a replay. He's nearly round the whole lap. He's been crawling round, and at the last corner, the wheel comes off. So no final race for Nick. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, his car's been taken back to the pit lane. No chance for him to come and play. But great work done by the Seat crew in particular to get both Jason Plato and James Thompson's cars repaired for this race.
Yeah, that damage in the second race, they've done well to repair it. It wasn't as bad as they first feared, and for those of you watching concerned about Mike Jordan, we have very good news. He's had all the scans. Everything looks a lot better. He's a bit groggy and has some broken ribs, but we gather he's sitting up watching this last race, and we wish him all the best.
Absolutely right, and there he is on board with Jason Plato. They suffered a little bit of chassis damage, I think, but they've straightened it all up as much as they can. They've got the wheels pointing in the right direction, and it's now up to Jason to try and hold on to second place in the Drivers' Championship. And it's all about him versus Colin Turkington, and they'll be starting together on the 10th row of the grid, so that is one to watch.
That is the race to watch, the battle for second place in the championship. Nothing worse than losing a position in the championship at the last race, and they've both got a lot to go for, and they've both been quick at times this weekend. Turkington qualified well, he's been fast, Plato showed speed in the second race. Battle on.
Battle on indeed. Jason Plato has never been the runner-up in the championship. He's won it in the past, he's been third, he's been fourth, but he's not been runner-up. Colin Turkington likewise hasn't been runner-up. Who it's going to be, we'll find out in the next few minutes after some 22 laps. All the cars making their way into position on the grid, and Matt Neal has not gone onto the grid. He's into the pit lane, so there's drama indeed. Matt Neal in the pit.
But it's unbelievable, isn't it? He's won the last race, not a single mechanical problem. He's only had 2 retirements this year from accidents, and there he is sitting in the pit lane. Now the championship's won.
Well, that is a story, and just imagine if the points had still been close coming into this last one, what drama that would have caused. He looks pretty calm about it. But we're all set to go racing here, and it's going to be Jason Hughes in the Kart World Racing MG from pole position who'll try and make the start. We've got the green flag from the back. It's going to be him versus Paul O'Neill, Tom Ferrier with his car lined up. And away we go, it's a great start from Ferrier from the second row. But Jason Hughes just getting off the line, and Paul O'Neill getting a good run. So O'Neill going for it. Gareth Howell getting squeezed out a little bit by Rob Collard as they head down towards Cops Corner. And it's Paul O'Neill who leads, Ferrier in second place, Jason Hughes in third.
Yeah, Ferrier made a good start. His car appeared to be creeping just a little bit on the start. I hope he's not out of it. Now, that was one of the RAC cars, so that must have been Collard pulling off to the left. You're on board Plato following Turkington.
I think that's right. I think Collard had a problem there out of Cops Corner, whatever it was. Sideways there for Plato, was that? Somebody gave him a little bit of a tap. The Martin Bell BMW coming through in one piece. So definitely dramas already on this opening lap as they flash beneath the bridge. And we gather that a wishbone on Matt Neal's car has failed, and that's what they're replacing. Race leaders into Brooklands though, and it's a good start for Paul O'Neill. Look at him running away at
one
the
of
moment.
the Vauxhalls straight off in the background is Guy Smith. Gavin Smith off.
Gavin Smith out, so we've got another car in the gravel trap. They'll try and recover it. We're on board with Jason Plato. He's running down in 12th place. There's Tom Chilton, 11th. Remember, these guys started back in about 18th, 19th places, so they have made up some good ground as the marshals quickly trying to get to Gavin Smith's car. Paul O'Neill leads. Let's look and see what happened to the Vauxhall.
Yeah, just look to the left-hand side of your screen as the Vauxhall comes into, well, just lost it. No one behind him, so that's a cold right rear tyre, as you predicted at the start of this race. Just lost it turning into the only left-hand bend on the corner, on the track.
Giovanardi coming under serious pressure there from Gordon Shedden. That is in the race for 4th place. It is, in fact, Giovanardi's got into 4th. Last time round, Shedden came past us in 4th. You saw Thompson at the back trying to pick off some places. Giovanardi now will go chasing after that lead group.
And in the background, we've got Plato and Turkington side by side. We're talking of side by side. Howell goes up the inside, hooks the curb, and that's Shedden's gone off.
Shedden off into the gravel, into the grass. Giovanardi also in trouble there in the Vauxhall, rejoined. And as all that was going on, as you said, Gareth Howell was able to pop up into second position. So it's all change here. O'Neill still leads, but everybody else taking to the gravel.
And that worked out perfectly for Plato because they rejoined right after him and in front of Turkington. So in the battle for second place, at the moment it's advantage Plato. They all rejoined right in front of him. And there you saw Turkington wrapped up in that little battle.
Gareth Howell now really hunting down Paul O'Neill. You're on board with the man in second place. Paul O'Neill locks that rear tyre just a little bit, but gets right up on the curve, gets his apex, tries to get on the power. But Paul O'Neill says he doesn't have the power of the best cars out there at the moment. And here's Gareth Howell's chance. You can see he's closing. Big overtaking opportunity coming up. Is he going to go down to the inside? He is. He goes to the inside. Howell's on the right line. He's taken the lead from Paul O'Neill. And now O'Neill's got to watch out for Tom Ferrier behind.
Yeah, well, Paul O'Neill was right. He clearly didn't have the straight line speed of Gareth Howell at that point, and Howell was able to slide up the inside. Shedden off again, and this time it's for good. He's beat.
He's not getting out of that one. Well, there must have been presumably some contact. I reckon we could well see a safety car out because that car's in a very tricky position there. Third place at the moment for Tom Ferrier. Then it's Darren Turner running in fourth. Fifth place for Colin Turkington. Now, Turkington was one of those guys who started at the back, and he's got past his lap. Turkington's flying.
Yeah, you're right. In actual fact, it was Collard that got caught up behind that group of rejoining cars, and Turkington is ahead. He's the fastest man on the track, as you say.
And this is getting tight up front as he tries to get past Darren Turner. The MG moves to the inside here, but of course Turner then will protect the entry to the next corner, the left-hander down at the end of this straight. So safety car on track, no great surprise to see the safety car, and there is Gordon Shedden getting out of his car. We didn't quite see what happened, but he looks to me as though he's looking for somebody.
He's looking for somebody, hopefully not to give a David Pinkney gesture to, but that's going to change the complexion of the race a little bit close up. He had a really fast car, didn't he? Here we go, racing back to the start-finish line, and then they'll stop positions. But Turkington coming across in 5th place, and Plato 2 places behind him in 7th.
Yeah, so everybody now has to close up behind the safety car. We'll have some laps at it. Let's just remind you, it's Gareth Howell for Team Halfords who leads. It's Paul O'Neill in 2nd place, Tom Ferrier in 3rd, Darren Turner in 4th, and then Colin Turkington riding with Colin there in 5th place. Tom Chilton 6th, Plato 7th, and currently it's going to be very close in terms of 2nd place in the championship. There's the work going on Matt Neal's car. He pulled into the pits, remember, before the race even got underway, and so he's down there in the pits. It's not looking good for Team Halfords for those two, but it is for their 3rd car because he's leading. And let's see what happened here. This was the first incident earlier on when he went off into the gravel. That wasn't the final moment though, because he was able to rejoin there, and Giovanardi also was able to get back on. Everybody then had to sort themselves out. I wonder if we're going to get a chance to see exactly what happened to Gordon in the 2nd instance. Here we go. Oh, it looks like he did that on his own perhaps.
Well, maybe, can't see, but it's certainly he was very wide and very locked up.
No, bad news for Gordon Shedden. The work going on to get that car out of the way as quickly as possible, obviously. Made me, the way he went in there almost looks as though maybe he picked up a puncture or something like that.
Yeah, he was certainly very late and very deep. So maybe he did have a puncture, as you say, from that off, or slow puncture at least. Looks like they're parking Matt Neal's car. Parking Matt Neal. So Matt Neal is not going to finish the last race of 2006. And what a difference that might have been if that had happened in the first race.
You know, I think that's their first mechanical problem in 2 years, isn't it? Because
since 2004, the last race at Donington. So the last race is a bit hit and miss for Matt, but the last race is the two engine failures in 2004 at the last race were his last mechanical DNFs.
Yeah, and 2 DNFs this year, but they've been with accident damage. So that's a real shame about that, and well, he's out of this race. Now, Jason Plato is currently running in 7th place. Let's see if we can grab a word with him on the radio. We'll see if our systems are up and running. He's making a bit of a change there in the car. Let's see if we can get a word with him. This is Ben calling Jason. Jason, how are things out there for you at the moment?
Hi Ben, how you doing? Well, obviously my car took a fair bit of damage up to during the 2nd race, and I've got a little bit more understeer than I was hoping for. Seems to have lost the stuff up in but it's early days in the race yet. My car might come back to me at the moment.
Okay, we're struggling to catch that as much as we would like to be able to, but hopefully we're going to be able to talk to him later, and we'll be able to talk to Matt Neal because he is with Vicky in the pit lane. Let's hear from them.
You wanted to hit the bar and celebrate your championship early.
It's just a shame. I think there's some rumble strips over the curves, and I was hooking my front wheel over them in the 2nd race. So, well, that's caused the problem. We just got a rose joint pulled out the wishbone, which is we could have started, but it wasn't safe, so we decided to pull it.
And a bitter end then to what has been a terrific day.
Well, thank goodness it wasn't going to end to the wire, but I mean, I've had a fantastic day. I said in the first 2 races I've had a load of fun and I've really enjoyed it, and I've had a fantastic time. So it's nice that Gareth's getting another run for us, which I can see on the TV, which is brilliant.
And that Shedden's out, so it's all on Hal now.
Yeah, Flash is out unfortunately, but Gareth's got his tail up. He likes it round here, and he's light, so he should be a tough man to beat with a bit of luck.
Well done you. Thanks for everything this year. Back to Ben.
Thanks very much, Vicky. Well, it is Gareth Howell who leads, and the flashing lights on the top of the Porsche are out, and that means we're going racing in a moment. Gareth Howell it is who leads with Paul O'Neill in second place, Tom Ferrier in third. Ferrier, the unfamiliar name to us perhaps, who haven't been watching his progress. He's raced in European touring cars in the past, and he's raced in Ginettas, in Caterhams and in the Seat Cupra Championship last year. He's a very competitive racer, young man. Let's see how he gets on the restart. The safety car heads into the pits, and Gareth Howell immediately opens up a little bit of a gap over Paul O'Neill. Tom Ferrier keeping the pressure on for second place, and then behind them, watch out for Darren Turner and Colin Turkington, the two real experienced campaigners in this group.
Yeah, Tom Ferrier, he has raced in the British Touring Car Championship before, raced in 2001 in the sporadic outings in the Alfa Romeo, and he's a real fired-up racer. That motor-based team only collected the car this week, but he's lost 2 places there in his challenge on Paul O'Neill, and that could be 3 as well. He lost speed coming out of Cox, but they've done a great job to get that car going.
Yeah, he's been squeezed out big time there. Now looks like Plato's also going to be able to get past him. On board here with Colin Turkington running in 5th position. In fact, it's now 4th position, and they're all battling to try and take second place. Paul O'Neill in the middle of the road, and Darren Turner trying to go around the outside. Turkington ends up running wide. They make a bit of contact, O'Neill and Turner there. Turkington is able to take advantage, and all this is allowing Gareth Howell to run away. Mistake there from O'Neill.
Yeah, Turkington's going to get up the inside, and he'll be on the inside before they get to Woodcote, so he's going to clearly take that place. Paul O'Neill desperately trying to fight off the other cars, and his top speed not as great as theirs, and on a track with 3 big straights, that isn't easy.
Jason Plato needs to catch up with Turkington, otherwise he may lose his second place in the championship. There is Tom Chilton now dicing with Darren Turner as well, but it's Gareth Howell who leads the race. Turkington now up into second, O'Neill is third, Chilton in 4th place, and then the rest of them with Darren Turner, Jason Plato in there, then Tom Ferrier, and it's all very, very tight indeed. Back on board with Paul O'Neill, and you can see up ahead of these 2 cars how our race leaders opened up a 2.2 second advantage. Gareth Howell could be on for 2 wins here at Silverstone today.
Yeah, that'll take his tally to 2, and he is not going to be caught. He won the first race convincingly. He's got 0 ballast and a good gap, no chance. Now Turner's let Plato through, and Thompson's jumped in front as well.
Yeah, Plato's been given that place perhaps, but now Thompson says I'm having a bit of that as well. All 3 Seat absolutely together as they come out of Luffield then. Second, third, we've still got O'Neill, and he's under pressure from Chilton now. So Tom Chilton right up there, but he's got to watch out as the Seat still goes side by side into Cops Corner. As they came across the line, Plato was 5th, Turner was 6th, and Thompson was 7th, but it's still very, very tight as they come through Cops Corner.
Well, Paul O'Neill is fighting valiantly against the balance of Seats, if you like. He's really fighting hard and driving the wheels off that bioethanol power car. Look, he gets a good exit there, but just at the end of the straight, they just reel him in.
Yeah, they do reel him in, but there's the gap from 1st to 2nd. Turkington, 3rd now Tom Chilton, 4th place now is Plato, and it's the battle for 5th position as Paul O'Neill goes very defensive. Darren Turner sweeps around the outside. Thompson gives O'Neill a bit of a tap, and Collard's got nowhere to go. Oh, great recovery by Paul O'Neill. He's saved that well, and he's run into the back of Collard, but Collard saves it too, and they're still side by side out of Luffield. This is entertainment for those fans who've waited till the end of the day for the last race of the Touring Car Championship.
Well, Paul O'Neill may have been out of the Touring Car Championship for 18 months, but he hasn't forgotten how to give it out. If he's given a tap, he's going to give it back.
Yeah, but he's lost the place again. Look, Tom Ferrier's gone past him, and maybe that car's beginning to suffer. He's now under pressure from Dave Pinkney as well. O'Neill dropping down the order. He's now in 9th position, and we gather that Giovanardi's out of the race. Fabrizio Giovanardi in trouble in the Vauxhall, so that leaves them hoping that Tom Chilton could do something, who's currently in 3rd position. There's Jason Hughes. He started from pole, and he's way down the order. There is Giovanardi with a puncture and with damage to the rear as well, I think.
So it looks like the wheel is in not facing the right way, but up front Howell is 3 seconds up the road from Turkington, who's got a little bit of a gap because Chilton is between him and Plato.
Yes, so Plato still getting on terms with Turkington. It's going to be very tight for 2nd place in the championship at this rate between Turkington and Plato. Not much to choose between them, and there's just a car separating. Then they've got the other Seat there of Thompson and Turner racing hard together. Turner currently in 5th place. James Thompson in the Red Bull car in 6th position. And then behind them it's Collard, Ferrier, then it's O'Neill and Pinkney. And they're now racing for 9th and 10th places. So O'Neill, who ran so well up front in this race, vigorous defence of second place, but he's now finding himself down in 9th position. And it's Jason Plato perhaps to keep an eye on here as he tries to close the gap to the man ahead of him. That's Tom Chilton in the Vauxhall.
Yeah, at the moment, if the positions end as they do, then there's going to be 4 points difference between them. So Plato would still keep second, but the safety car is back out, and this will close them all up again.
Yeah, now Gareth Howell had a 3-second lead as before this safety car came out, and now it's all going to disappear. This is going to really hot things up because Gareth Howell and Colin Turkington will be closed up, obviously. Tom Chilton will be there too, Plato, and it could all be set free, set loose once again into the race restart in the second half. We've had 12 laps completed now out of what is now a 25-lap race. We've had some laps added because of the safety car out earlier. So we're at the half-distance mark. Gareth Howell looks to be the quickest guy out there, but at the moment he's going to find that Colin Turkington and Chilton and Plato are all going to be very, very close behind him. They're under safety car. It means that they just have to settle down and relax, and it gives us the opportunity. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Race is back underway, and it's Gareth Howell who leads at the restart, but under pressure now from Turkington, and then it's Tom Chilton, Jason Plato, Darren Turner and James Thompson.
Well, the West Surrey crew would have been on the radio to Turkington to tell him the position of Plato as Martin Bell spins off in the background, so Turkington will know that he's got to try and get past Howell, because he needs to put another car between him and Plato if he's to try and have a chance of winning that second place.
And it's Gareth Howell who has the advantage. The gap 1 second between Howell and Turkington. Nothing surely that Turkington can do this time. Chilton meanwhile is just eased away a fraction from Jason Plato. I can't see Plato going for a big move on this last lap, and that's the leader there. It is Gareth Howell, and he's driven beautifully here today. Last year here at Silverstone he did make a mistake in race 1. He outbraked himself, kicked himself afterwards for that. Oh, someone's been wide. I think that was Smith.
Gavin Smith, yeah. Now he was in the battle with Pinkney and Paul O'Neill.
In fact, I don't think he lost. Oh, he's hit Paul O'Neill. He went wide at the previous corner. He's now run into the back of Paul O'Neill. This is getting a bit physical, isn't it, on the last lap of the last race of the season? Let's hope they all make it through to the end in one piece. Now out of the last corner, it is Gareth Howell and Team Halford. Despite losing 2 cars from this race, it's going to be another victory for Team Halford. A superb day. The team has won every single race here at Silverstone in the finale. It's Gareth Howell who takes victory. Second place goes to Colin Turkington. Third for Tom Chilton. Fourth for Jason Plato. And that means that Plato has taken second place in the points by doing just enough. And Paul O'Neill has managed just about to hold on to 9th position.
Well, he must have done a do-or-die Paul O'Neill down into Brooklands on that last lap, and that was a tremendously exciting last race. Absolutely brilliant and worthy of the 2006 championship.
Confirmation then on how they finished that final race, with Howell taking the flag just ahead of Turkington. In the end, Matt Neal's margin was an impressive 48 points, but Plato took the runners-up spot by just a single point. So for the second year running, BTCC boss Alan Gow handed the trophy to the same delighted champion.